if the world ends tomorrow, what will you do differently today? Then as a teenager, I would say, quit school. Start doing ABC. But the youth leader was saying, no, I'll still do what I'm doing. If I'm working, I'll still work. If I'm studying, I'll still study. At the point of time, I don't understand what the person was saying. Like, whether you want to do something different? But now I understand. To me is, why are we not doing right now what we want to do?
Have you ever felt that life's complexities might actually be simpler than we think, if only we learn to drop the ego that convinces us otherwise? Welcome back to the Juggleverse, where we explore the real, the raw, and the remarkable journeys of moms balancing it all. Today, I'm honored to have Daphne Lim with us, a strategic leader and a solo mother who lives and breathes the idea that clarity, care, and humility can coexist even amid chaos. Daphne's stories reveals how letting go of ego opens space for simplicity and resilience, how career pivots, leadership's challenges, and motherhood, no matter how demanding, can find harmony through simple rhythms, clear boundaries, and heartfelt grace. Let's dive into this inspiring conversation. Hello, Daphne. Welcome.
Hi, Edith. Thank you for inviting me.
Your life seems a rhythm, not a race, right?
Yes,
is it true for you?
Yes, very much so. I don't like running through life. I like experiencing. I like to sit in what life has to provide itself. I mean, we only live once.
And what are the anchors of yourself during a day to find your rhythm?
To me, before I talk about how I want to live each day, it's more on, at the end of the day, what are my priority in life itself? So my priority in life, of course, are the people whom I love, my family, my loved ones, and to be able to live life to the fullest, that, if let's say the world is going to end tomorrow, I will have no regrets itself. Then in that case, then it comes to how do I achieve it day by day? Then that's why you talk about, what are the anchors in life that allows me that kind of clarity, that kind of freedom to be able to do what I want to do. So simple anchors could be, number one, I set boundaries itself. So work remains at work itself. When I'm at work, I give my presence to my colleagues, my business partners, my team itself on what I want to do. But once I reach home, then my work remains at work and I remain present with my family itself. So number one is, of course, the boundaries that I set. Number two is being present wherever, whichever environment, whichever situation I am in itself. So to me, those are my anchors.
But let's go step by step.
Sure.
You've made bold career pivots by while maintaining your authentic self as well. What beliefs or practices have you been compassed during these transitions?
Maybe a bit more about, my career shift ever since I started working itself. So I started off as a primary school teacher for about 9.5 years itself, teaching primary 5 and primary 6. Then from there, I decided to have a career change. I always joke with my friends, I don't change jobs, I change career. So 9.5 years later, I went into managed services for HR and payroll, where I started off as just a HR and payroll assistant. And then over the 9.5 years I was there, I led a team of about 30 individuals itself, 30 colleagues, managing about the 300 over portfolio. So after that, I was offered an opportunity to join Oceanus Group. So the CEO of Oceanus Group actually came to me and said that, do you want to try something different, something to pay forward? Because Oceanus Group at that point of time, when he offered me a job, was going through bankruptcy. We have liquidators, we have creditors knocking on our doors. And to him, it is, Oceanus Group, although it's a listed company, it is actually a social organization because at that point of time, majority of our shareholders were elderly. And if the company goes bankrupt, a lot of them who invested their pension fund, their CPF monies will have lost everything itself. So to me, it looks like an interesting opportunity for me to pay forward. Then of course you'll tell me that, okay, you're interested in pay forward, but there's a few things you must accept. Number one, you had to accept a huge pay cut. Number two, I'm not sure whether the company can survive tomorrow. So are you willing to jump to that? So I've been with Oceanus Group for about 8 years already. So it has been a very interesting journey so far. Yes.
You're talking about your company with passion. Does it count for you, or really count for you, to be really passionate with your job or with your company that you're working for?
That goes with one of my anchors in life, that, I want to live life to the fullest. Like it or not, we are spending almost half our life in our jobs itself. If it's not something I'm passionate about, I'm wasting half my life. So even as a teacher, I really enjoy being a teacher. I mean, until now, I'm still in contact with some of my students. They will message me on social media. I was invited to some of their weddings. So I'm very proud of the students that I have. And there was an interesting incident, because usually when I was a teacher, they don't usually give me two extreme classes, the best class and the class that's not doing so well. So when I was in my teachers were, I think on my 7th or 8th year, I have the school office panicking, calling me, Daphne, there is a guy looking for you at the office. He has tattoo all over. I do not know what kind of trouble are you in. So I went down and I saw it was actually my student, and he was so happy to see me. Miss Lim, I came back to visit you. So the kind of happiness you have, the kind of knowing that you have made a positive impact in your students, to me, is what I really treasure. So when I left, be it whichever career I left, I didn't leave with bitterness or with sadness. I left with very fond memories of every single job. I left with very good relationship. I mean, I'm still in contact with my ex-colleagues, even from my managed services. We meet up. I meet up with my supervisors. I meet up with my staff. We still keep in regular contacts. I think it's the relationship. It is the lessons you learn that that enriches your life. So to me, jobs and career are experiences in your life that enriches you as a person. So yeah.
You turn complex strategies into simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
How do you bring this simplicity into your everyday life?
When you introduce me, you talk about dropping ego. To me, a lot of things are made complicated because we want control. We would think that, number one, do I deserve it? Number two, does my staff deserve it? Number three, if I were to do this, if I was supposed to leave this organization, will I break anything? Or even things like, if I do this, will I be liked or will I not be well liked? Actually, to me, all this ego, and it makes things really complicated. But I believe when you drop ego, you will find freedom, because you are no longer blindfolded by what you think is right, what you think is yourself. Rather, you have the freedom to really be yourself, to think, actually that is putting ego aside, putting things aside. There's actually a way to do things where it's a win-win situation for both parties. And like it or not, even if things succeed or don't succeed, whether you succeed or don't succeed, life still moves on itself. What you are doing is just putting a little part of your contribution to what is needed. And then when you have that freedom and you feel that you don't have that pressure of making sure that things succeed, you give up that control, you give up that ego itself, then things become very simple. You know that, okay, for example, you're not thinking about popularity, you're not thinking about succeed, you're just thinking there is a problem, there is a solution, and that solution just requires A, B, C, D, E. Then you just do it yourself. So it becomes just a process you do.
But how you are saying it, it sounds so simple, but it's not as simple as it is, right, in everyday life. Because if you're saying dropping ego,
Yes.
I suppose it doesn't mean not loving yourself.
Oh, no. Dropping ego doesn't mean not loving yourself. In fact, dropping ego doesn't mean that you no longer love yourself. Dropping ego is realizing that you don't put yourself above others, neither do you put others above you. So you see everyone as equal. So there is a story. I like listening to Ajahn Brahm's podcast. So there was one story that I always remember where he shared about, there was this monk. He brought a group of his followers out to a mountain itself. And then they were captured by a group of bandits. So the bandits were telling the monk and his group of followers, if you want to survive, one of you had to sacrifice yourself, then the rest are set free. So then the group of robbers actually left the head monk and his group of monks to figure out who will be the one who will sacrifice themselves. So in that group itself, there was a head monk who was religious, well respected, well loved, and then there was a new monk that basically does everything wrong, and he was the one who got all them into trouble. There was an elderly monk that was really very sick, and then was nearing death doors itself. Then the audience had to guess among the whole group of monks who you think will offer themselves to be sacrificed. So the next day, the robber came. Then the robber said, okay, which one of you is going to die for the rest of the other monk? Then the abbot said, no, we have not decided. Because we love each other, but we also love ourselves. So none of us are going to sacrifice ourselves for each other. So the robber was taken aside because everyone was thinking the head monk being so compassionate and being so no ego, he will sacrifice himself. But I said, that is not the meaning of no ego. The meaning of no ego is you don't see yourself above. You don't see yourself underneath. You see everyone as equal. And then you practice loving kindness to everybody equally. So that's why we do not want to sacrifice ourselves for each other. With that, the robber actually set all of them free because it was a lesson. So the wrong concept of ego is that you put yourself below others. But the concept of ego is where you no longer see yourself and others as the same. So you no longer have this thing that you need to control the outcome. You need to prove yourself. You need others to prove themselves to you because you are practicing loving kindness to basically, everyone, including yourself itself. Then that's why it makes solutions a lot easier. Because number one, you no longer have to prove yourself. You are only thinking of there is this problem, I need to solve it. But then because you are kind to yourself, then you realize that I'm also human. I have only 24 hours. I have these resources. And part of my resources is my team that is with me because we're all the same. Then what we can do as a team is A, B, C, D, E. And this is what we can try. And this is what we can do. I cannot control the end results, but I can do my best to make sure that, I can deliver what we want to do. So that is, that's why I said that's freedom. Your freedom comes from, you no longer need to prove yourself. Your focus is only on, there's a problem, I need to solve it. Together with my team, no one is above, everyone have our own resources. How do we then come together and solve it?
You put your resources together as a team.
Correct. So that's
above ego.
Correct. So to me, that is what I call how we simplify things itself without ego.
Yeah. It's not a secret that before this episode, I asked you a couple of questions. And if you don't mind, I'm going to quote from some sentences for you because I really find it interesting. So you said that ego blocks learning. It traps you in yesterday and makes you fear today.
Yes.
I ask if a belief is true or just a script. Drop the ego, keep the lesson, and move forward. It sounds so simple, really. But is this the approach at your company?
I think this is the approach that I have for my life. Of course, it's not easy. It comes with mindfulness. And mindfulness is not something that you decide today and then you don't struggle with it anymore. Mindfulness is an everyday thing. In fact, it could be, every half an hour, every 1 hour. It doesn't mean that you become detached and like, a monk in the here itself. But I came across the word mindfulness when I was reading the book Tuesday with Maury, where he talked when, he was suffering from a very bad sickness itself. And then he talks about, he will allow himself to go through the sickness, then that he'll be like a bird that he flies up to the top of the building and he looks down at himself on what he's doing. And that philosophy also comes with Ajahn Brahm itself that, you talk about when you go through, you will definitely go through life unhappiness, life sickness, or you will fall sick because we are human. We will go through heartbreak because we love, we hate, and so on. So being mindfulness doesn't mean that you run away from all this. It means that you realize that these are the things that in life you have to go through because you are part of human. You are living in the world itself. But it allows you to then look at yourself like a very good friend. Just, like for example, if your very good friend is suffering, is falling sick, how will you take care of your friend? So mindfulness allow you to take care of yourself, like how you will take care of a good friend. If your good friend is going through heartbreak, you will allow your good friend to cry, to be sad. Moments of one whole day of just doing nothing, eating ice cream, and just let out everything. But as a good friend, you will also let your friend know that you don't wallow in self-pity for more than 1 day, 1 week, or whatsoever. We still need to go on with life. So mindfulness actually allows you to be, number one, what you're going through is normal, is human. Go through it. Feel whatever you are feeling itself. Don't resist it. But then as a good friend to yourself, then you realize that, okay, enough is enough already. Life still goes on. Don't get into the habit of, being sad, being miserable. Now it's time for you to move on. So it's a daily thing. It is a conscious thing that you practice. And maybe another example, when I was teaching maths in primary school, I was sharing with my students and their parents, your child can be excellent in maths. They can know all the formulas in maths and they can do very well. But when it comes to exam itself, they may not be able to perform because an exam is a 2 hours paper.
And it's a stressful thing.
Not just it's a stressful thing. Mentally, you're not trained.
Oh, okay.
It's a mental, when we are jogging marathon, we need to train because the body needs to stretch. But how much time do we spend in terms of training our mind? We are so used to, in the morning when I wake up, I brush my teeth from right to left. Every day I do right to left itself. So our mind is not trained. Mindfulness allows your mind to train, allows your mind to exercise the way you exercise your body itself. So like when you stop exercising for a week or so, your body loses that muscle and everything. So mindfulness is something that you need to constantly exercise your mind. When you exercise your mind, it becomes a habit. So when it becomes a habit, then you realize that, okay, then this is something that I realize, here I'm being egoistic right now. I need to let go and think of the solution. So it becomes a habit. It's like exercising. Once you run, you start running, it becomes a habit itself.
I truly agree with you, but it should be a very conscious practice.
Correct.
To be mindfulness.
Yes.
How do you take care of yourself each day?
So that's where I will have my daily reset. So when you talk about boundaries, okay, I spoke about boundaries earlier. So how do I learned this during COVID because I realized during COVID itself, all of us are stuck at home working and then there's family. And I realized for the first week or first 2 weeks itself, I became very agitated. So in the midst of COVID, then I started baking. So after I work, I will start baking cookies. Then I spend time with my family. So baking became that, what you call that breaker itself that allows me to switch my mode. To me, that is a reset. So everyone has a different way of resetting. So my reset right now is when I'm traveling from work to home or home to work itself. What is my mini reset that allows my mind to decompress, allow my mind to basically reset? So that comes with, when I will purposely take the train to Fort Canning, which is about 20 minutes away from my house. Then I will cycle all the way home itself. So when I cycle all the way home, that's when I start, I can't do anything because I'm cycling. I need to be conscious of the road itself. That allows me to reset. So I'll leave my work at work. And then when I go home, then I become a mother, I become an auntie, I become a daughter itself. So reset. And I have my weekly resets as well, which means I spend about half a day alone. And to me, reset is very important. For example, when your handphone freeze, when your laptop freeze, you need to reset. So what more for humans, we need to reset in order to be able to think clearly. Then of course, physical, you need to take care of your health. Sometimes we are not able to think properly because we are feeling tired. So it doesn't allow us to be mentally alert also. So to me is number one, how you take care of your mental health, how you take care of your physical health. that will allow you to be also conscious of what you are supposed to be doing also. Yeah.
You're telling that you have to be conscious.
Yes.
Every day.
Mindful.
Mindful
Mindful.
at work and at home as well.
Yes.
But for that reason, you might have a very supportive family background who you can count on every day.
Humans are being human. There is always good time, there's bad time. And of course, there's a lot of love for each other. I mean, that's what makes us family. So I guess in every family, there's of course support, but there's of course conflict as well. Because, when you are staying too close together, they're bound to be rubbing our shoulders also. As a mom to my daughter, people always ask me, why do I give my daughter so much freedom? So to me, maybe it comes from my background as a teacher. Why do they like giving me the worst class? And I really enjoy teaching the worst class because, to us it's all, there's no rules. We just do what we think is right itself. And I realize kids live up to your expectation. And kids don't listen to what you say. They observe
what you do.
What you do. They observe how you react when you are angry, what you do when you are sad itself. So, and I remember there was one, in fact, there was two different experiences I have with, where I was tasked to organize an event. And usually there was an annual event in school, back in the primary school, where they would do a year-end activity for all students and for all primary 6 students, and it's a mass event itself. So that year when I was in charge, I decided to do something different. I told the teachers, I'll take a break. I will handle it with my class. And they were saying, you're bound to fail, because how can you entrust such a responsibility to P5 and to the P6s itself? Especially, you're going to do obstacle tasks, and then there is, caution, and there are, you need to get a P6 to lead P6. No one will listen. It'll be chaos throughout. But at the end of the day, I would say the program was so well run because, when you entrust kids freedom and you believe that they can do it itself, they want to show to you that they can really do it. And I would say that the program was really successful. Why do I say it's successful? Because the following year onwards, teachers start getting their P6s to organize the events instead. So kids will live up to your expectation. So same thing with which I practice at home. I give my daughter freedom. I told my daughter, I'm not going to check on your homework all the time or your spelling. I'm giving you the freedom to decide how you want to spend your time studying, how you want to spend your time on your hobbies. But with freedom comes, I always like to joke, Spider-Man said, with great power comes responsibility. So I told her, with freedom comes responsibility. It means that I would not want to hear any complaints from your teacher. If your teacher reaches out to me, it means I have to take away some part of your freedom for you to learn how to be responsible for your freedom itself. So that's number one, our agreement. Mm-hmm. I also share with her, I'm not so concerned about your results. And then I have to be really not concerned about results, because to me, the process is important. As long as I know that she's really doing her best in the study.
How she gets there.
That I see her spending time studying, asking for help when she needs it. Then to me, I'm contented itself already. But there's a few things I'll set for her, but there are a few things that to me is a big no-no. Number one, I want you to be kind. I don't want to see you disrespectful to your elders itself. So once I see that, to me it's a no-no. I will come hard on you itself. If I see you unkind, that's where I will also, to me, that is also a big no-no. So to me, my gut rest for her is not so much on the results she showed to me, but in terms of, the processes in her reaching her results. What are the qualities I want to see her as an individual? I mean, thinking back as a kid, I was a rebellious kid. My mom would say that I give her the biggest headache of all. And, maybe next time my kid will give me the kind of headache that I gave to her. But so when I look at my daughter, it's like, when I was young, I would have done that also. But when I do that particular action, it's not because I want to rebel. It's because I'm still curious. I want to learn. Why am I punishing her for her curiosity? Why am I punishing her for an experiment? So go ahead and experiment. Go ahead and be curious, because we all learn through life experience. But when you're doing all this, make sure that you do not go beyond the boundaries that are set for you. You do not be unkind to another person. You do not harm or hurt another person. Then that's fine. And next thing is, freedom comes with responsibility. You bear the consequence. Okay, you know I'll be behind you, but you have to learn to live the consequence. So answering your question, so with that at home itself, once I release that, wanting that control, how she lives her life and what I want her to do, then it becomes more on interaction, on presence. So that kind of, to me, minimize that kind of conflict that we have. We are just there listening to each other's day and seeing how it goes.
But is your mother also involved in this practice? I mean, giving your daughter freedom, or she shares some different, maybe as she belongs to an older generation.
She belongs to the older generation.
So there might be also a kind of conflict.
Correct. She belongs to the older generation. But I can think my mom knows that I'm a pretty stubborn individual itself. So I'm not rude to my mom, but my mom knows that she'll talk to me now like, But she knows ultimately, she sees how my daughter is. She's quite proud of my daughter. So to me, it's okay lah. Since it's working, I shan't interfere too much itself. But being at her age, she was still nag. Then my daughter sometimes come to me is, I don't want to tell Grandmimi what's going on. And I say that it's up to you, but you must remember that your Grandmimi still loves you.
When did you start giving your daughter so much freedom? Or did you start it from the beginning directly? Or do you remember any turning point when you changed your mind or decided like this?
I think I started from the beginning because of my teaching background. Because as a teacher itself, I gave my students a lot of freedom. In fact, one thing which I'm very proud of as a teacher is my students do not need me to be around to behave themselves. I can be on MC and I got teachers coming to me and say that your class is very, very, very well behaved. Mm-hmm. They can go up the staircase and they are not talking, they are in order. And they are so well behaved that, I got a lot of compliments from teacher whether I'm around, not around. And yet during recess, when I'm with them, they will come and pull my hair. They will play with me. We will have eating competitions. So you still have a group of very rowdy, very happy students that know their boundaries. When I'm going up the stairs, I have to behave this way. But at recess, when it's play, I can play with Miss Lim however she wants to play. That's why, sometimes I tie my hair in ponytail. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly my rubber band will go off. Yeah, because then you see one of the girls running around, trying to get me to catch her itself. So that to me, that's freedom. And then that's boundaries. Kids don't learn through rules and regulation. They learn through
punishment.
I realized that as a teacher or usually as a parent, we only focus or we talk to the student or the kid when they are not behaving themselves. But when they're behaving themselves, usually leave them alone and do their own stuff. So one thing I learned as a teacher is instead of punishing, I give a lot of positive motivation, a lot of positive talk. Hey, well done, you've done a good job. I like it. And then when they do something as an individual and, I will reward them as a class. So it becomes, when they go up the staircase, when no teacher is around, to them is, okay, Miss Lim is going to praise me if I behave myself. I will then, do it. So that experience as a teacher itself helped me in being a mother, where if she doesn't behave herself, yes, I correct her, but I don't just give her the attention when she is not behaving herself. But when she behaves herself, she gets a lot more of my attention, a lot more of my affirmation that, hey, good job. So that makes her want to be a better person. Mm-hmm. That's why I was saying, kids live up to your expectation. And how do they know what your expectation is? Is when you spend that time, sharing with them, at the point of time where you give them more attention, where you're more present. That's when they know that, hey, that is the expectation that, she has of me. You see, when you spend that attention when they are not behaving themselves, they say, she always think that I will fail. She think that I won't behave myself. That's why she's spending that kind of attention. So what communication are you, be it your kid, even let's say with your staff, with my colleagues, where is your attention on them when they're not doing well or when they're doing well? So to me, that is then what I usually do with, wherever it is itself. Yeah.
You're a mom of a teenager.
Yes.
If you're looking back in time, What has been the most challenging part of being a solo mom? And what is the most challenging thing nowadays?
Of course, to me, being a solo mom means when I started being a solo mom, my first concern is how is my daughter going to cope herself with me being a solo mom? So of course, will she be okay? Will there be a stigma for her itself? Especially so when she's in the school that I used to teach in, where her teachers also knew me as an ex-colleague. So of course, there was quite a bit of worry if she will be okay. And my daughter is like me, an introvert. She doesn't like to talk much and share much. She usually like to ponder about her feelings before she actually reveal it. She shares it. So that was one of my primary concern itself. Is she hiding? Is she afraid? So I guess that's when, rather than trying to fix the situation, to me, I just want to be there, present, observing, listening, or just spending time with her, seeing how it goes itself. Then, of course, for her sake, to me, it's important that she still spend time with her father. So, of course, then to me is I don't want to let her sense that there is anything that will make her hesitant. Because whatever happened to adults remain with adults. For her, she must still have the privilege of being able to enjoy her life as a teenager, as a young person.
And being loved by her
being
parents.
loved, yes. So then that's when mindfulness is very important. That's why I did a lot of my own solo cycling. Sometimes to be present means you have to take time away for yourself, to be alone by yourself, to reset. So I spent a lot of time cycling. I spent a lot of time, meditating and then decompressing. So when I'm with her, I'm not trying to process my feelings and my thought because I've done that in my solo time. When I'm with her, that's when I'm just with her.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows me to do what I what I want to do as a mom itself, to just love her and be with her itself. So that was a challenging time. And at the point of time, things were happening in office as well. So that reset for me was really important. But it's good because in that period of time, I lost a lot of weight. Exercising. Yeah.
And nowadays, what are the most challenging part for you? Still to spend value time
Yes, to spend
with her?
value time. Yes, to spend value time with her. As a teenager itself, of course, teenager comes with all their teenage issues itself, where they were in the Asian society, they always think that, okay, at that age right now, they shouldn't be dating. They shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't be doing that. Then how do you balance? You want your child to still share with you all these things. Of course, but then as a parent, sometimes you're like, oh no, oh dear. Mm. But then once you have the oh no, oh dear, kids are sensitive. They can sense it. Then to them, it's, oh no, my mom is worried. And out of love, they will, okay, then these are things I shouldn't be sharing with my mom. So how do you balance that? You want your child to still continue to share with you, and at the same time, still allow them to learn, explore, and grow, because that's how we learn and explore as a young person itself. I don't have an easy answer. There's no easy answer to this question. It is really day by day. But I guess the key thing is, again, at the end of it, you mentioned what is the anchor? Is what do you ultimately want your daughter to be? So I want my daughter to learn resilience, because like it or not, whether I'm around or not around, she will definitely go through hard knocks in life, and she may make the best decision, but life is such that even if you make the best decision, the worst things can happen to you itself. So how do you then equip her with the skills that, she can learn? That is number one. You don't always provide her that soft landing, but what you can provide her is she knows that she has a home to go back to, and the home is, me as a mom. So that is something I always have to remind myself. So sometimes, as mom panicking, oh no, oh dear, we know she will still learn, she will go through certain, heartaches or heartbreak, but how do we?
But these are our concerns, right?
Yes.
So maybe we have to try to avoid overwhelming them about our concerns.
So that's where ego comes in.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I think it's the most challenging part.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's why, to me, it's ego sometimes don't allow you to be a full mom. Letting go of ego sounds very noble, but it's not noble. Letting go of ego actually, to me, is allowing yourself to live your life to the fullest, to be who you really want to be. If we have ego, I say, then we want control. Then it doesn't allow you to be the mom you want to be. That's why ego has to go in order for us to be who we want to be.
You mentioned that you practice cultivating kindness towards yourself. But can you do this practice also with your colleagues, with your team every day? Or is there any ritual within the team that you do every day or weekly?
Not so
because you
much
spend a
really.
lot of time together,
yeah.
maybe more than with your family.
Yeah. I spend a lot of time with my colleagues itself. But to me, okay, loving kindness is also wisdom. Like it or not, we are in a business world. And business world is not a charity organization. And ultimately, why people go to work? Because they need to take care of their family. They need to be paid well. In that case, company also need to be profitable. Then I can take care of my staff. So that's why to me is, number one, I must be practical. I need to make sure that the company is making money in order that my staff can be well remunerated, that they can be well taken care of. So that is number one. Number two, with my staff, as without ego, then you don't see yourself as a manager, a supervisor. You see all of us. You see that all of us are just trying to make sure that all of us will be able to take care of ourselves, our family, when the company goes well itself. Then in that case, we don't fix individual. Then we look at, okay, if this thing is not working well, how do we fix the solution? What is the solution to this flow? So we always go back to the flow itself. So, okay, maybe an example I can share. For Oceanus, back in 2017, we just got out of the bankruptcy of the debt restructuring. We managed to finally see money. Then after that, from 2017 to all the way to current, our revenue was 1 million in 2015. Right now, we are at 300 million. With that comes a lot of challenges. You have increase in headcount. You got increase in number of subsidiaries, increase of, and then with more people, there's more what you call politics, more quarrel. Then there was one day my HR came to me and said that, we just set a new HR guideline itself. And now just the next day, I have 3 different departments coming to me with headaches, with problem itself, because number one, there's miscommunication. Number two, they don't understand what's going on. And they had to spend time talking to the individual. So I sat down with my HR and said that, talking to each individual, we don't solve the root of the problem. So what is the root of the problem? Is it the flow, or is it because we don't have like-minded people in each different department to really understand, the rationale behind each and every regulation? We fondly call it the Oceanus ambassador, where we have different individual, peer-nominated, where they will nominate one person from their department to be in this ambassador program. Then this ambassadors will meet once a month, where we will come together. We will share updates. We will have team bonding session, and they are the people who will then share the correct, aligned information with the rest of the team itself. So that solves that flow. So to me, is instead of solving that, also to me is compassion to my HR, because I'm cutting down their bandit problem. Every time there's an issue, so I go back to the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is not getting rid of the individual that caused the problem, because it's not the individual. It is, number one, it's like, why there is this subject called literature? Because one paragraph can be interpreted in 10 different ways.
Yes.
So imagine if you pass one thing to 5 teams itself, you will have 100 interpretation. But how do you actually align to the interpretation or that meaning that you actually want to bring across? That is when you bring people together and you share. And then you allow that message to share across. So that's what we wanted to do with the Oceanus ambassador. So we solved that root of the problem, that flow. Then, of course, along the way, to be able to do this again, then the ego has to go, because some things that realize people struggle with is, I don't like to make unpopular decisions. I do not like to make things that are difficult, that would seem as cold-hearted itself. But when you realize that sometimes if you do not do what you call is unpopular, it is not fair to the team. It is not fair to the individual involved. Example, if you have a staff that is not really contributing, you have tried counseling, you have tried hand-holding the staff for a period of time, but it's still, things are still not working. Then the hard decision is then you have to let the staff go. But no one likes to do that.
Of course.
But the thing is, you look at it, there's two consequences for the team and for the staff. If the staff is not able to do the work, who ends up doing his or her work? You are penalizing your stronger managers itself. They end up doing double the workload. Not good for them, and then not good for the business, because I want my business to grow so I can pay them more. But now I'm carrying the workload. And ultimately, it's not good for the individual as well. Because if the individual stays long in the company, the individual maybe grows older, and at the point of time where the company needs to really let the person go, you are depriving that individual a chance to find a company that better suits his or her capability. Because like it or not, the earlier you let the individual go, the more time, the more opportunity the individual may has itself. So to me, is when you let go of ego, when you have practiced a bit more mindfulness, you realize that it's not about looking popular or doing things that people will think that you're a good person. It's thinking of the big picture, a win-win situation. When I make hard decisions, I'm benefiting the company, benefiting the team. I'm also benefiting the individual itself. So why not?
Really true what you are saying. And so you talked about the ambassador program you have at the company. Are there any other projects you are really proud of?
What I can share is I will share throughout what I have done. I mean, when I left every job itself, no one thought that I would ever leave that company, because I really put in my passion and my work to it. So, I mean, in Oceanus, I set up the Oceanus Ambassador, which I'm very proud of. In my previous company, before I joined Payroll Serve, the department I was in was loss-making itself. And then what happened was that then they had to split the department into 3 parts. So, and my CEO at the point of time, he just said, okay, there's 3 parts. So there is 2 major parts. The first major part will still be held by the current head itself. Then this second part where there's about 300 AMCs and there's 30 staff. He looked at me and another manager who was there way before me and said that, which one of you would take it? He knew I would take it, because he knew the other manager is, I do not want to take any responsibility. So, and I took out that role itself. So when I took out the role, I was like, oh no, number one, my clients are not happy, because they're saying that there's so many error in the deliverables. There was high turnover rate, the staff were not happy because there was so much overtime. And then yet they are not making any money. And when they're not making money, how do we increase their salaries and their bonus itself? And I was given 1 year to turn the whole thing around. So when I look at it, the first thing I did a few things that, they find it very controversial, because I'll go in and say that, no, I don't want it. I want to restructure the whole organization. Right now, you are calling this, you're giving the person the title a manager, but the manager is still doing very routine stuff, even though they have people under them. I don't want my managers to be doing routine stuff. They are portfolio. They are handling portfolio. So I will have to move all the portfolio to their staff. But then it doesn't mean that the staff will do more things. Then I say, no, let me look at all the deliverables. So I really have to study the entire structure and everything. Then I realized there's a few steps I need to do. Number one, like that's what I shared, in one paragraph, everyone interpreted in different ways. So there were a few deliverables that was agreeable. But when I go from individual to individual, they will interpret as this deliverable equals to 10 reports. Another individual say this deliverable equals to 5 reports. So it's like, okay, how do I then, out of 30 individuals and 300 over clients, how do I then standardize that, when we say is this deliverable, is this number of reports that we need to generate itself? That is task number 1. Task number 2, for my clients that are so used to receiving 10 to 20 reports, how do I go to them and say that, sorry, I now can only give you 5 reports? Yeah. So that was the second task. And the third thing is things that, don't value add at all. How do I cut it down? Long story short, at the end of 1 year, all my staff all went back on time. My profit doubled. So I was able to compensate my staff very well. And all my clients nominated my team for the first time in 7 years as the best ops team in Asia. So to me, that was an achievement because I make my staff happy, I make my business partners happy, my clients happy. And of course, the management was happy because the profit is coming in. And at the end of that 1 year later, I left to join Oceanus Group.
To the other company,
Yeah.
at present company.
So that's why everyone at that time was quite surprised. They thought that, after I've really achieved that, I would have stayed on. But to me, it's, my job is done.
You closed that chapter.
Yes. So to my next adventure itself. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have anything to share?
So ultimately, the few things that come to me is, when you're asking me why dropping ego is important, because when you drop ego, then to me, that's how I'm able to live my life to the fullest. It's no longer of, about myself. It's more on, at the end of the day, someone asked me a question before when I was a teenager. If the world ends tomorrow, what will you do differently today? Then as a teenager, I would say, quit school. Start doing ABC. But the youth leader was saying, no, I'll still do what I'm doing. If I'm working, I'll still work. If I'm studying, I'll still study. At the point of time, I don't understand what the person was saying. Like, whether you want to do something different? But now I understand. To me, is why are we not doing right now what we want to do? To me, it's not so much of, what I've achieved at the end of the day, but it's adventure. When I let go of my ego, or I let go of when I practice mindfulness, I have this sense of, I have really lived my life to the fullest. I have done really what I want to do, do what I want to do, go where I want to go at every stage, at every part of my life, whether it is in my career, whether it's in my family, or even my own personal retreat. So I will have no regrets.
Oh, that's a nice takeaway to conclude. Thank you so much, Daphne, for your wisdom and all your takeaways you shared with me, because it was very exciting and interesting for me.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting.
Thank you so much for joining us today and being part of this beautiful conversation with Daphne. If her story resonated with you, I invite you to share your thoughts with us, leave a review, and send this episode to a fellow mom who might need a dose of encouragement. Remember, juggling life, work, and motherhood isn't about perfection. It's about showing up with kindness, resilience, and heart. So until next time, keep juggling, keep shining, and keep writing your unique story in this wonderful, messy universe of working moms.